What's most intriguing about silver is that its fundamentals couldn't be stronger. If people were to look under the hood instead of just looking at the price and realize that this is a commodity that has duality in demand, both industrial and monetary. This is a commodity that's coming out of the ground at a ratio to gold of 7 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, yet is priced at 90 to 1. This is an asset that is depleting in nature because for 5,000 years, its ratio was 16 to 1 to gold. Now it's 7 to 1. In every respect, it's the most undervalued commodity and or investment.
The much anticipated 2024 is finally here. This is the year financial analysts believe will be revolutionary for the global monetary system. Though the year is just starting out, there are lots of expectations surrounding how the global economy and the markets will perform as the months go by. The US economy is especially under intense scrutiny. While 2023 was not as eventful as many thought it would, with the Federal Reserve managing to bring down inflation without plunging the economy into a severe recession, some experts have warned that 2024 could bring even bigger economic challenges. In addition to the risks of inflation becoming sticky after the Fed begins cutting rates as promised, the possibility of a widespread banking collapse still looms darkly on the United States economy. Lending via the Bank Term Funding Program, the emergency facility introduced by the Fed following last year's regional banking crisis, ends in only a matter of weeks. Yet it recently hit a new record in December. As of December 6th, the BTFP had $121.7 billion in loans outstanding, the most since it was created on March 12, 2023. Loans during the first week of the month rose by $7.8 billion, more than in the previous 3 months combined. This means that the Federal Reserve may be forced to cut rates and go directly to quantitative easing within the next few months. If this happens, Rich Dad, Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki and renowned bullion dealer Andy Schectman predict it will cause a massive increase in the prices of precious metals like gold and silver. Andy and Robert are quite bullish on silver, especially for its dual role as both an industrial and a monetary metal. During a recent interview on the Rich Dad channel, Andy and Robert deeply analyze the many important qualities of silver and why it is a better opportunity for investors than even gold. We will now bring you clips from the interview. Ensure you watch the video to the end so you don't miss any of the golden investment advice from these legendary investors. Lastly, don't forget to share and like the video and subscribe to the channel for more related videos. Thanks and enjoy.
I became a silver bug in 1964. I was 17 years old and I held up a dime. I said, why is this damn copper? Why is this thing copper all of a sudden? And then I held up a quarter. It was copper also. Then a $50, I think, was copper also. So I'm going, what the heck's going on? And the greenback, instead of saying silver certificate, said Federal Reserve note. So I'm only 17 years old, but I knew something was fishy. And that kind of twigged my mind ever since then as to what is really going on. And so it became my study. And I found out about Gresham's law. Gresham's law states that when fake money comes into the system, real money goes into hiding. But it was intuitive. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me that. I just kind of knew that fake money is not good.
Securing wealth is through precious metals. And I say it that way because I don't look at gold and silver as an investment, Robert. I never have. I look at it as wealth, wealth that has outlived 2 world wars, German hyperinflation, the Great Depression, every pandemic, and is still immutable wealth that truly I hope I never need to use. And if I do, I'm darn glad I have it, whether it be for an emergency, as most people think about owning gold and silver for, or perhaps an opportunity. I think maybe you would look at when the dust settles, there will be opportunities. Maybe it's stocks selling at single digit price to earnings ratios, paying a 7% dividend. Maybe it's that real estate that we've always wanted that's selling for pennies on the dollar. Whatever it is, I know it's there if I need it. And if not, I pass it on to my children. And I feel comfortable in creating and leaving a legacy for my family that I know that long after the dollar bills in our wallet are hanging from a frame in the Smithsonian, that gold and silver will still be immutable wealth.
I've been in gold since 1971 when Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. The price of gold is the same throughout the world.
Right.
And that was when I became a silver bug at first. And by 72, I was a gold bug.
But what you just said, Robert, is something I don't really know if people understand the significance of it. And it's something that I have harped on for decades now. And that is simply that gold is universal. Silver is universal. It doesn't have to be, there can be a language barrier. Gold will break through the language barrier. Gold and silver is wealth. It's not an investment. At least it's not to me. And I think that's the best way to look at it. And I think the people going all the way back to the beginning of time who had wealth, kings and queens and pharaohs and emperors and you name it. I mean, they didn't buy gold from their gold dealer. They owned it as a form of immutable wealth that is able to be passed on throughout the centuries. And that is how I look at it. And I think to this day, the wealthiest people and the wealthiest central banks and the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world understand that is the role of gold and silver. And as Dr. Franz Pick once said, all paper currencies or all fiat currencies inherently are meant to die. So if you look at gold and silver as wealth and money, it has outlived everything and it is still here, while every paper currency before us.
One would not be mistaken to say sentiments about silver are at their lowest point at the moment. For instance, silver's performance over the past years has not been particularly impressive compared to other metals like gold. For example, earlier this year, when investors were rushing towards safe haven assets during the US banking sector crisis, gold climbed from $1,835 to $2,018, while silver rose from $21.27 to $25.54. Though silver gained around 20% while gold gained about half of that, investors quickly noticed that while gold was close to all-time highs, silver was still very far off. Investors are wary of further short-term declines, fewer significant gains, and the unthinkable possibility that silver will forever stay manipulated and low in price. However, Robert and Andy maintain that gold and silver are God's money and are way more valuable than fake paper currencies like the dollar. Let's get back to the interview.
I have literally tons of gold and silver. I own gold mines and silver mines. Okay, I don't play with paper. But what is it with people's psyche? You, Miles Franklin, can deliver. And I talk to my friends and no, I think I'll wait for it to hit 500 an ounce silver. Why are people that stupid, Andy?
It's the same reason so few people are ever successful in investing, Robert. They wait until it's been validated by price, and I think the only way to truly succeed is to buy when the price is low. And what's most intriguing about silver is that its fundamentals couldn't be stronger. If people were to look under the hood instead of just looking at the price and realize that this is a commodity that has duality in demand, both industrial and monetary. This is a commodity that's coming out of the ground at a ratio to gold of 7 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold, yet is priced at 90 to 1. This is an asset that is depleting in nature because for 5,000 years, its ratio was 16 to 1 to gold. Now it's 7 to 1. In every respect, it's the most undervalued commodity and or investment. Well, of course, in a green and digital world, anything that conducts electricity or electronic solar panels, battery-powered vehicles, iPhones, iPads, flat-screen TVs, just about anything that conducts electricity has a modicum of silver in it. And so whether you're talking a simple light switch to a motherboard that has 1/5 of an ounce of silver in it to run a computer, it all has silver in it. And to your point, because it's used in such tiny amounts, most of it isn't recycled. Even the gold that is used in industrial applications, it's so valuable, it makes sense to recycle it. And so you could argue that all of the silver that has been used in industry in the last 80 years, the majority of it is in landfills somewhere. And so it's an asset that is depleting in nature. And so it represents a very unusual situation. And really the truth of it is that you have a handful of commercial banks on the commodity exchanges that are suppressing the price. When you talk about what's happening in terms of retail demand. At the same time, to me, what is really different is that you have a whole world that is awash in inflation and anxiety of war and geopolitical issues. And, as you said earlier, in the last 4 years, the US has printed more money than in the history of the country before it.
Rich dad, poor dad, what savers are losers. Why would you save money and the debt's going like this? Now inflation is going like this, and inflation leads to instability. That's my concern. I said, silver will probably go I expect it to go to 100 to 500 in 5 years. And this idiot friend of mine says, I'll just wait 5 years then. I want you to prove it's going to go up. I said, but look at, as you said the word earlier, the fundamentals, as you know, it's being consumed, it's being burned up. And, Tesla, God bless them, they're burning silver. Every TV says burning silver. Green New Deal's burning silver. And what my friend said, Andy, get this, I'd rather have bonds. I'm going, are you kidding me? Because, as interest rates on bonds go up, his bonds get less valuable. I just can't believe the psychology of it.
But I've been seeing this event coming where there is a realization, an awakening by the public that, my gosh, it's time to think outside the box, to start thinking in a way that your rich father taught you to think, not so much by the book, but outside the box, and think about.
Last August, Robert posted a pretty optimistic gold and silver prediction. According to the renowned investor and author, silver prices could get as high as $100 this year and $500 in 2025. He is also predicting an over 100% increase in gold prices before the year ends or by early 2025. Do you agree with these predictions? Please share your comments and predictions for gold and silver in 2024 in the comments section below. If you have yet to do so, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.